All right, guys, welcome back to the Gym Profit Podcast. Today we're here with Josh. Josh runs all of our fulfillment, so he runs all of our ad campaigns with his team for all of our gyms. So today we're going to be talking significantly on marketing. It is now November 5th of 2025, and we have some changes. We've been rolling out some things for all of our gyms in the last few weeks,
Yeah.
and so we're just going to talk about what that looks like, why we're doing it, what we've done historically, probably what other agencies and competitors are doing currently,
Yeah.
and then explain the whole thing. So, Josh, let's dive in.
Yeah. Today I think we're gonna talk about a few things, but primarily we're gonna talk about what we call the ecosystem, right? Where that's an entire, for lack of a better word, ecosystem that we've created that, to be fair, isn't really new, right? Like this isn't a new thing, but we're going back to marketing roots, and we're gonna talk about why and how it works and all that fun stuff. But really, just like if you're a gym owner and you're listening to this or a trainer, marketing has gone from fairly simple and straightforward to really complicated to arguably ineffective and overcomplicated. And what we're trying to do is bring it back to its roots, focus on acquiring quality clients for our gym owners and our clients, and do it in a way that's actually aligned with their own business practices as opposed to like dancing on TikTok and whatever else people are doing these days for views. So to start with, I mean, I thought it would be good to talk first about like what prompted us
Mm-hmm.
to actually build the ecosystem. Like, what were the frustrations that we were seeing across gym owners, and like why did the almighty Jay decide to come up with this idea?
Yeah, so quick background. I think in general, gym owners have been pretty spoiled. And what I mean by that is if you're a local business, you have a certain level of trust and authority already built in because there's only so many options, right? There's scarcity, there's authority, and there's trust just for you being one of the 5 gyms in the area that can solve your client's problems, right? And so with that, with you not needing to build a significant amount of trust, historically, we've been able to, and we've taught our gym owners and our competitors all do, essentially run a cold offer to cold traffic, right? And because we have this kind of built-in trust and authority, people just generally tend to sign up, opt in for an offer, come in and pay within a week, right? Now, we've just seen that's gotten increasingly difficult and it doesn't take into account lead quality, right? And so this kind of trust recession that we're seeing with, throughout the marketing world is now creeping its way into local markets as well. So when you were a few years ago one of the few gyms running ads, and now they're seeing ads from 20 different gyms all saying the same thing, that trust is not there anymore. And
And
so,
not just gyms. I think the thing to consider too is more businesses locally in general are also getting into advertising. So ad space is being bought up, right? Think about it. We often forget because it's like the unlimited vastness of the internet, but it's still like a newspaper where there's only so much space, to put your ads, and other businesses locally are getting more into Google ads, Facebook ads, etc. And not just, you're not just competing anymore with gyms, of course you are, but it's ad space for other advertising as well.
yeah, yeah, 100%. And what I mean by spoiled is we haven't had to build a traditional kind of marketing funnel that builds trust because we've had that built-in trust. And so now, with this kind of trust recession creeping in, if you were to go, and we get this a lot from gym owners, we'll crush it with a gym owner and they'll say to us, hey, can you help me build an online business? Well, if you went to go build an online business and you wanted to run advertising, never in a million years would you expect to run a cold offer to cold traffic and close them within a week, right? There's just not enough trust. And because you're a local business, you've been able to do that with the current system. Now, what we see with businesses that are marketing nationwide or even worldwide is you need to build a traditional marketing funnel that builds awareness. It has some level of conversion, and a retargeting component that builds trust and takes someone from just seeing your brand for the first time to months later feeling like you're the only one that can help.
Yeah, and that brings us to the definition of like, I know we jumped ahead a little bit with the ecosystem, but like defining what that actually is. And feel free to add on to this, but really what it is like a 3-layer or 3-tier marketing system that's designed to warm up, even qualify, and eventually convert the right people into premium higher ticket programs almost automatically. We want the marketing to do the work, and Jay's going to explain like what each piece of those 3 tiers actually look like. But that's the point, is to actually have the marketing do a lot of the work and build trust and awareness, so that when you're putting forward this offer of say a 12-week program, 6-week program, free trial, even all these different things, you have more interest because people actually know and trust who you are.
Yeah, 100%. Before we get into the tiers, just want to say if we run just a cold offer to cold traffic, we
And
might
can you tell everybody like just one sentence summary, what is a cold offer, just for like the gym owners who are like making a few grand a month, just started, like what does that mean?
Yeah, it just means packaging up some sort of, we'll do a 12-week program, 6-week program, and essentially you're packaging up fitness, nutrition, maybe some accountability check-ins, and putting together a holistic kind of program where people see it. They might see that ad for the first time and say, cool, I can get results with this program, right?
So the coldness means like they've never heard of you before, they've never seen you.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so, again, historically, we've been able to get away with that, but it doesn't take into account lead quality. And so, really, a quality lead comes from having trust with your brand. And so, we might run a cold offer to cold traffic, and you might get leads, but they might not answer, right? Because 5 minutes after they opted in, they think of a reason not to do it, or they don't have that trust with your brand. We want people to opt in having already felt like these people are the solution for me. And so we want marketing to do more of the work, and you have to do less of the call them 300 times over the next 30 days and try to pull them into your gym against their will, when instead we can design a marketing ecosystem that moves them down the funnel and gets them ready to buy.
Which a lot of agencies these days will say is like still the right thing to do, is like just call until the sort of trope of like dial until your fingers bleed, essentially. And there's some truth to that as far as like following up with leads. But if our whole approach hinges on people's ability to actually respond to you smashing them over the head with phone calls, I can't remember the last time I answered a phone call from a number I didn't know, personally. So I think really, just for a second, like imagine if there was a way to do this that actually feels like a breath of fresh air. Like, why would we still be doing the thing that's just pissing people off in the market? It doesn't make any sense. And so really what it is, and this is the thing that I think is going to piss off a lot of agency owners who are maybe watching this, is it's just lazy marketing on their end. It's really lazy, uncreative, cheap, and quick to delivery for their client, just so that they can like say, oh, we like got your ads out there, great, right? Just throw a bunch of ads out there with like a picture of we'll talk more about some of this, but 15 guys in the local market, I'm looking for 12 dudes that want to like get shredded, right, and like, see what happens, right? But the times for doing that, in our opinion, are over. And quite frankly, we're just so sick and tired of putting those ads together ourselves that we've come up with a different system that, yeah, like it does involve a tremendous amount of work for you to actually take on as the gym owner, but like so did starting your gym. So did buying the equipment, putting together the squat racks, and so does programming, so does working with your coaches. But imagine if you just like let your coaches run free and didn't do any training, or if you just like decided that the bathroom would clean itself. Like what do you think would happen? You're not doing that, so why do that on the marketing side? Do what works, do what's aligned, and do what actually feels better for you and still works, by the way.
Right. And gets you the results you want. Last thing I'll say, and then we'll get into the actual ecosystem. We're going to break it down layer by layer. But we work with facilities that maybe the owner has installed a manager or a director. We've had facilities come to us where those facilities were, maybe working with another company, and they're getting hundreds of leads a month, which sounds great. But their director or manager is making, 300 calls a day. It's a massive time suck. And at the end of the day, when whittle it all down to what actually comes into your facility, they'll be like, 200 leads, 5 new clients. And that's just the numbers. And that's their perception where they get
That's
five
two and a
clients.
half. That's 2.5. By the way, for people doing the math out there, that's 2.5% lead to close,
Right.
and we want to see 10 times that.
Right, exactly. And so my question to gym owners that may be running this model where they have hundreds of leads and your agency is just telling you, hey, you need to call them more, you need to nurture them and just pull them in. Wouldn't you rather get 20 leads and close 10? Have less conversations, not pay your director, for 8 hours a day, or do this lead nurture yourself. So anyway, we think there's a better way.
We do, and we know it's true because we're running it right now. So what does the funnel look like without getting into like too much of the minutia, because it's just so much, and obviously if you're interested we can just grab some time on either of our calendars and we'll talk about it. But how does it work? Top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. What does that look like?
Yeah, let's keep it pretty basic, but top of funnel, we run an awareness campaign. Now, this is either on Instagram or Facebook or a combination. Generally, we like to run Instagram profile views as your top of funnel. And the important thing to note here is maybe you're a gym owner and you're trying to post content to get new clients. The issue with that is these platforms like Instagram are not designed for local businesses. They're designed for virality. So the chances of your organic post about 3 tips to lose weight, that's likely not only not going to get you clients, but it's not going to reach your local audience. Now, what's really cool is with a paid acquisition system, we actually get to take some of your best performing content that you've posted organically, and we get to target that locally within a 5, 7, 10-mile radius, whatever we think works for your facility. And every single day, you're going to get local new followers and new traffic to your Instagram page that you can message them. They're going to consume your content as you continue to post. And that's just really the top of funnel where for very cheap, we can get local people that are generally interested in your service to start consuming content. And then the cool thing is they're going to get hit with all the rest of our ads in the remaining 2 sections of the funnel.
Yeah, it's about values over virality.
That's it. And you have control over it. So we recommend this for every gym. Just a low budget. You're going to reach a lot of people in your local area, and you're going to get new followers every single day. And so that's going to be your top of funnel. That's going to be the first layer to kind of build awareness around your brand.
Yeah. Middle of funnel, bottom of funnel.
Yeah, so layer 2 is going to be middle of funnel. This is really your conversions. Now, you can do a couple things here, depending on your gym, depending on your service, your price point, and that sort of thing. This is really your core offer, right? So if you're getting people in for even a free session, if you're getting people in for a 6-week program, a 12-week program, this would be that middle of funnel where you want to expose your local audience to this offer, right? Now, the people that were in the awareness piece are going to see this offer because we've trapped them in our warm audience, right? So they're going to start seeing this offer for the first time. Maybe they don't opt in immediately, but they're going to continue to see this offer. So we need to expose the local market to ideally a results-based offer where they feel like you can help them get the result that they want. So that would be the middle of funnel piece. We're not looking for followers here. We're not looking for just profile views. We're actually looking for people to give us their name, email, and phone number. So they're opting in to reserve their spot, claim an offer, claim a spot in this 12-week program or whatever it is. And so this is that first exposure to what we would call a conversion, someone giving you their information.
Yeah. Since they already now have some trust in you, this should result in better quality leads right off the bat compared to just running, because you might be asking, like, why can't we just run this? by itself. Right now we can, and eventually Facebook's going to get its act together and the algorithm's going to know what to do and all that. But particularly for gyms that have like never run ads before, you have to remember that things take time, just like strength training or anything else. You can't just expect to gain, 15 pounds of muscle in 5 minutes. So same thing with the algorithm. You can't expect it to just know exactly who your client avatar is and all that right off the bat without any like back end work. So these layers, that layered approach, the top of funnel, middle of funnel, and soon the bottom of funnel that we'll talk about, that allows us to have that more engaged approach with the algorithm and people, so that there's like a shorter friction path, right? Like a shorter, less resistance overall, really, and people know you already.
Yeah, and just not to get too far off track, but there's a few things that we can do in this conversion section, this middle of funnel, to try to get the highest quality leads that we can. Now, a gym that charges $200 a month is going to have different options than a gym that does, 12 PT sessions on the front end and then does small group at $500 a month. So historically, the way that we've tried to get a better quality lead in this second phase of the funnel is we try to price an offer, if we can, transparently, that is close to your ongoing pricing. So let's just say you charge $200 a month. Maybe we put together a program that's 6 weeks for $200. Someone that comes in for that is probably going to pay you long term, right? So that can be a qualifier right there. Now, the issue, and this is one of the reasons we came up with this, what happens when you do 12 PT sessions first and you charge $600 a month for small group? You can't really put the price on the funnel because it's too high. And you also can't expect someone to opt in for the first time they see your 12-week program out there that's going to cost $3,000. If they don't see the price, you can't expect them to just opt in. So what we actually need to do is we need to hit them more times. We need to increase the frequency that they've seen our brand, which is going to elevate the trust to the point where they finally give in and they say, look, these people are local. Their landing page looks amazing. This offer looks really good. They have all these testimonials. I'm going to give them my name, email, phone number, and I'm just going to have a conversation. And then, boom, we sell a higher quality, more bought-in lead.
Yeah. I think of the whole process, the way that I run things in my own gym, as a series of like alley oops, if you guys are familiar with basketball, right? Like one person passing the ball to another who then dunks the ball into the net. I can't go into more explanation than that because we're, just that's enough. But, marketing is a sort of alley oop first to me, of like the salesperson, say, or my team, whoever's doing the sales call. And then that person is another alley oop or a pass to the person who's doing the initial assessment or first free class or whatever it is that you do in your gym. And then your whole system inside of your gym from the moment they walk in should also be an alley oop of like, a really seamless, systematized process where people are like handed off step by step by step. And it's like a growing level of like a thing inside of them that they might not even be aware of as a prospect of like, ooh, this like it really is a fit. Oh, this is really a fit. Oh. And then they sign up, right? Because there's no other way, if you've gone through this degree of marketing and this extent of sales conversation, which we're not talking about in this episode, but we have in the past and will in the future, and then, assessment or free class or free, week or 7-day program, whatever it is, if you've done all this work and you still get the objection, for example, of I need to go like try 7 different options, there's something massively broken in your system, one piece or another. So think about that, right? Like if somebody's gone through your whole system from top of funnel, IG posts, things that we're talking about, to get some followers and get some views, all the way down to bottom of funnel to sales conversation, where you're building a gap, with the prospect, and then into the gym. If you've gone through all that and people still don't have enough buy-in, that's hours of time that you've spent with them essentially, and no real like gap that you've built. So that's where you have to take a really honest look at your process and say, oh, shoot, wait, that is something that just happened last week. Like, why isn't that? You got to analyze that right after the fact and say, what happened, right? So what we're trying to do is also, the reason I brought all that up is we're trying to reverse engineer from there and say, how can we make this as easy as possible so that that actually doesn't ever happen for any of our gym owners? Now, in the end, like, we're all people, we all have processes and can grow and learn and, you know, get better at certain systems. And that's why we do a lot of coaching and mentorship inside of our programs. But to the best of our ability, how can we take off some of that pressure so that the system takes care of the people and you can just focus on coaching?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we want marketing to do as much of the work as possible. There's always a need for a nurture and a sales component, but the colder the lead, the more sales and nurture, right? The warmer the lead, the more bought in they are. You guys know this from getting referrals. How much easier is a referral to close than a cold lead that just, you know, saw an ad for the first time? Okay, so we want marketing to do most of the work. Let's just wrap this up with the bottom of funnel piece. Really simple, high quality testimonials of your best clients, right? These could be professionally done. On the high end or on the low end, they could be images of the client with their 5-star review, with the blurb of the text that they said, and we could put that into a carousel or splice it out into different ads. But essentially, this is your bottom of funnel. This is your retargeting. So someone that saw your Instagram and came to your Instagram, followed you a week ago, then they get hit with your conversion offer, that middle of funnel, 12-week, 6-week program, intro session, whatever it is. But then we actually trap them. They can't get away from us. We're going to increase the frequency, and we're going to hit them over the head with high-quality testimonials and stories of people just like them that have been able to see the results that they want with our help, all leading them to land on your calendar, and again, having the marketing do as much of the work as possible to warm them up and get them ready to buy.
Yeah, excellent. I want to talk a little bit about why this works well for either higher ticket facilities or gyms that want to move into high ticket. And high ticket for us is essentially, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially anything over $300-400 a month, probably, that does something on the smaller group or personal training side. So group fitness with 15, 20, 30, 40 people, not high ticket. $200 a month, very typical sort of, you know, on average group fitness. There's some ways to like make it high ticket inside of that or tack it on. But high ticket, you know, overall 350, 400 a month. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Yeah. So one thing that I want to have people really understand, like gym owners who are especially sort of stuck or just like don't know where to go, mindset wise, like in anything in life, if you want to be a premium gym, you need to become a premium gym owner. And if you want to become a premium gym owner, you need to likely change the mindset and the approach you have right now, which has only gotten you to the point that you are right now, right? Let that sink in for a minute. Your mindset and your strategies thus far as a gym owner have gotten you to a certain point. Great. And it's time to upgrade. And what I mean by that is premium gyms don't sell time slots or training sessions or even programs. They sell trust and transformation and really life transformation. So in the end, the whole point of all of this is to create an ecosystem. Dun, 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 that's the that's the thing. So that by the time somebody even talks with you on your calendar or your salesperson, they've watched 2 or 3 of your videos. They've seen a transformation story or 10. They've read your reviews. They've identified with your values. They understand, even on a minimum level, that what you do is, for example, for me, small group personal training, you know, nutrition and lifestyle coaching, they're pre-sold to the best of your ability. And the price really isn't the main objection because it's, you know, fairly clear that this isn't going to be $5, right? Now, in the end, like, are a few people going to trickle through who like have no awareness of like what gyms cost and what things generally look like? Sure. But we, you know, that's always going to happen. Mm-hmm. But the point here is that the back end has to match the front end promise as well. So you have to be providing great results to your clients. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting reviews, right? Positive reviews. You have to be retaining clients. So that's all stuff we help clean up, inside of our programs as well. But we have to be tightening those things up so that you can become a premium gym and a premium gym owner. That starts today. So if your current problem, and that's also why we start with coaching and mentorship, if your problem that we find is that your attrition is 10%, that can't happen. That just like can't happen, period. So
By the way, real quick, no
yeah,
amount of marketing is going to save you with a 10% attrition rate.
yeah. Now again, if you've like just got like 10 clients and you're like just getting started, it's like obviously a wacky time, but we're talking about like 30, 40, 50 clients, in general, that's a percentage that we don't want to be seeing. Right? When I say like 3-4%,
Yeah.
month after month. So anyway, it's not about again, gone are the days that it's just about getting more leads and like, whatever, like the gym will fix itself. I cannot tell you how many gym owners we work with for a while and see great results, by the way, in the marketing side and end up pausing or quitting with us because of a back end situation financially that just isn't tenable or isn't feasible. Things are always going on in the back end. I get it, investors, things like that. But again, if your attrition is 10%, that is a problem that needs fixing immediately. You need to figure out, hire, fire, adjust, do whatever you need to do to fix the issue that's causing people to leave. It doesn't make sense. Why are people leaving? Like, are they not seeing results? Do they not like your coach? Does your coach smell? Like, what's the problem, right? It might be simple. It might be more complicated. But either way, once you fix that, great. Now we're at a baseline and we're not in quicksand, essentially, right? Now we can actually grow exponentially without this risk of the people just falling right back into the quicksand.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would get more honest with what are your actual numbers? What are your attrition numbers? Solve that first. If you need our help, we can help you understand what needs to be in place to bring those attrition numbers down. But like we said, no amount of marketing is going to save a gym with 10% attrition, right?
There's no successful business anywhere where the business owner, CEO or otherwise, is just sitting back in his office in his underwear, just like counting dollar bills, right? Like that just isn't the case.
Right.
And if you were sold that dream, it's not true. Sorry. The sort of like, live on the beach while your coaches, do all the work. Like to some extent, if you have all the systems in place, could work. But in reality, you need to put your big boy or girl gym owner pants on and take ownership of the problems that are happening, fix them, and be in a position to actually win and take, like Jay said, take an honest assessment of where things are now. Right? I did this several months ago, just do this on a regular basis, but as much as I was sort of nervous about what we'd find, it's important. You take an honest assessment and you do this ongoing, even after 5 years in business, 10 years in business. And you say, oh, like, where are our problems now? Now that we have 100 clients in a small group facility, what are our new problems that we need to address, right? Is it hard to manage? Do we need more time slots? Has cleaning become unfeasible with just our coaches? Do we need to like hire a team to come in and clean the gym more often? Something like that. Do we need to expand the space, which we're doing now? There's all sorts of different things, but you have to, number one thing, you have to take an honest assessment of where you are and leave your ego so far out of the door that you just have to be able to own with responsibility that this is your problem or problems and your problem to fix.
Mm-hmm. And then just to wrap this up, I mean, then what does it actually look like to build a premium marketing system that feels aligned with your brand? If you're actually serving clients at the highest level, does your marketing represent that? Do people feel that? And with our highest level facilities, 7-figure facilities and above, this is what happens. Their clients get trapped in our ecosystem. And by the time they've opted in, they think this is going to be expensive, but I want it anyway because it's going to solve my problems, right? And so also taking an honest look at the marketing system that you're currently running, if it feels aligned, if it's actually getting you the clients that you need. And if you need any help, you can reach out to us, fitrevconsulting.com. We'll drop the link in the description. Our flagship program, Gym CEOs, we coach you on your business to clean up that attrition stuff first, clean up your client onboarding, fulfillment, consistently deliver high quality, high value outcomes for your clients. We say all the time, people don't cancel when they're getting the best results of their lives, right? So if you can systemize that, it's the number one lever you can pull. And then we layer in marketing where you will predictably get new clients every single month that go right into your existing process. So if that's PT first, if that's small group, if that's 3 assessments and then small group, if it's a combination, if it's just large group, we do it all. But if you need help, reach out to us. Link in the description. Josh, anything else before we jump?
Yeah, it's chess, not checkers. And what I mean by that is most gyms are stuck playing checkers, right? Short-term spikes in lead flow, right? But then a big downturn. Running discount offers and then not making any money because you sold them on a discount. Now you don't have any cash. High churn, right? Or fluctuating churn, or just static growth, lack of growth. The ecosystem we're talking about lets you play chess, right? It's a little slower at first because it has to be to build the system. But, a couple months in, as you start to actually build the process, everything starts to compound. Ads get cheaper, leads are warmer, and you become essentially the local celebrity of fitness that you need to be without doing a whole lot on the back end anymore. And the sales conversations also get a lot easier. So it's a bit of the chess, not checkers, but also trust the process and trust that we have a process that works for you. So like Jay said, fitrevconsulting.com, either of our, the profile link that's in this, of course, and we will see you on the next episode.
All right. See you guys.